Before you rush to quit your job, before you complain about the people around you, before you tell yourself, "I don't belong here," stop and listen. What if the place you're trying to escape is the very place Allah chose to transform you? What if the coworkers who irritate you were sent to polish your character? What if the challenges that exhaust you were designed to awaken your soul? What if the job you call a burden is actually the bridge to the destiny you prayed for? Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah does not place a believer anywhere by accident. Every office, every task, every pressure, every person is a chapter written for your spiritual rise. You think you're earning a paycheck, but Allah is preparing you for something far greater. You think your job is testing your patience, but it's actually refining your heart. You think your role is random, but Allah placed you there with perfect precision. So before we begin these 7 powerful lessons, ask yourself one question. What if this job is not blocking your destiny, but building it? Ibn Arabi teaches that every location, every role, every responsibility, and every season of your life has been chosen with divine precision. Nothing about your job is random. Nothing about your workplace is accidental. Not even the chair you sit in, the desk you work at, the people you interact with, or the tasks that frustrate you. Allah is the one who placed you there, not fate, not luck, not your resume, not your boss. You may look at your job and think, "This is not what I prayed for. This is beneath my potential. This is not where I belong. This workplace drains me. This isn't the career I imagined." But Ibn Arabi reminds us, your soul grows in the soil where Allah plants it, not the soil you choose. Sometimes Allah puts you in a job you never wanted because it contains a lesson your heart absolutely needs. A lesson you cannot learn anywhere else. A lesson that will transform you in ways comfort never could. Maybe you needed a test of patience. Maybe you needed a test of humility. Maybe you needed a test of endurance. Maybe you needed a test of sincerity. Maybe you needed a test that breaks your ego so Allah can rebuild your heart. You see, when you are placed in a job that frustrates you, that challenges you, that overwhelms you, it is not a punishment. It is a refining, a polishing, a strengthening. Diamonds do not shine until they are cut and pressured. Gold does not purify until it is exposed to fire. The soul does not elevate until it is placed in difficult situations. Your workplace may be uncomfortable, but it is exactly the furnace where Allah is shaping your inner character. Ibn Arabi says that Allah places you in the environment that aligns not with your desires, but with your destiny. If comfort prevented your growth, Allah would remove it. If struggle elevates you, Allah will place you there. If a certain job opens a door in your spiritual journey, Allah will push you toward it even if you resist. And here is the beautiful part. You do not need to understand the reason today. You only need to trust that Allah does nothing without meaning. Perhaps this job is not your final destination, but the path to the destination. Perhaps this job is not your dream, but the preparation for something greater. Perhaps this job is building the traits you will need when Allah finally gives you what you ask for. Your job is not simply a place where you earn money. It is a classroom for the soul, a field where your spiritual muscles are trained, a journey in which Allah Himself is your teacher. So the next time you feel tired, underappreciated, or out of place, pause and remind yourself, Allah placed me here. My heart is being shaped. My destiny is being written. You are not where you are by mistake. You are exactly where your soul must be. Ibn Arabi teaches that the world outside you is never separate from the world inside you. Your workplace, your experiences, and even the reactions you feel are not random. They are reflections of your inner state, designed by Allah to show you what is hidden within. Many people believe their job is the problem. My boss stresses me. My coworker irritates me. My tasks overwhelm me. My environment suffocates me. But Ibn Arabi flips the perspective and says, the world mirrors the heart. What you react to reveals parts of yourself that need healing, strengthening, purifying, or understanding. If a person has impatience within themselves, work will expose it. If a person has ego within themselves, work will challenge it. If a person has fear within themselves, work will trigger it. If a person has unhealed wounds, work will touch them. If a person has low tawakkul, work will pressure them, not to break them, but to show them where to begin healing. Every irritation, every stress, every moment of anger or sadness at work is a message from Allah. Look inside. Something needs your attention. You may think your job is unfair. You may think the workload is too heavy. You may think the people around you are difficult. And while these may be true externally, Ibn Arabi says the internal message is greater. Allah is revealing what your soul has carried for too long. He is showing you weaknesses that comfort would never expose. He is polishing flaws you didn't even know existed. He is making visible what was buried deep within you. Your workplace is not just a building. It is a mirror, and Allah holds it up every day so you can see your reflection clearly. Consider this. Two people can work the same job. One feels peace. The other feels misery. The difference is not the job. The difference is the inner world. If your job makes you anxious, perhaps Allah is showing you that your trust in Him needs strengthening. If your job makes you angry, perhaps Allah is showing you that your ego needs softening. If your job makes you insecure, perhaps Allah is showing you that your sense of worth is tied too much to people. If your job drains you, perhaps Allah is showing you that your heart seeks fulfillment in dunya instead of Him. Your workplace becomes a spiritual diagnostic tool. It reveals the inner diseases you never knew you had. It uncovers the spiritual muscles you need to develop. It highlights your strengths and exposes your weaknesses. But here is the beauty. Allah only reveals what He intends to heal. He only exposes what He plans to purify. Every difficult moment at work is not a punishment. It is a lesson in self-awareness. It is Allah whispering, look deeper, grow deeper, rise higher. When you understand this, your perspective shifts. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You begin saying, what is Allah showing me about myself? And when that shift happens, the job that once drained you becomes the very place that transforms you. You stop fighting the reflection and start improving the heart. Ibn Arabi teaches something profound. Allah hides His greatest gifts behind the things you resist the most. We often think ease is a sign of blessing and difficulty is a sign of punishment. But in reality, many of Allah's highest rewards come wrapped inside hardship, especially in your work. When your job feels heavy, when the pressure builds, when your responsibilities pile up, when your strength feels small compared to the demands of the day, understand this. Allah is preparing you for something you cannot see yet. Every struggle has a purpose. Every stress has wisdom. Every difficulty at work carries a hidden treasure. Ibn Arabi says that Allah does not elevate a person through comfort. He elevates them through trials that polish the soul and sharpen the spirit. Think of the prophets. Not one was elevated through ease. Every one of them was refined through challenge. So when your job becomes difficult, it is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is a sign that Allah is investing in you. The hard work you do today is building the strength you'll need tomorrow. You might feel like, I'm overworked. I'm trying so hard, but I'm not moving forward. I'm stuck. I feel unseen. I feel exhausted. But Ibn Arabi reminds you, Allah sees the effort you think no one notices. Allah measures the strength you think no one appreciates. Allah rewards the patience you think no one values. There is no effort for Allah that goes unrewarded. Not a moment of frustration. Not a second of exhaustion. Not a drop of sweat. Not a silent cry in sujood after a long day. Every difficulty is written. Every sigh is counted. Every sacrifice is recorded. Sometimes the reward is not money. Sometimes it's not a promotion. Sometimes it's not praise. Sometimes the reward is a stronger heart, a purified soul, a deeper connection with Allah, protection from unseen harm, a future opportunity being prepared quietly, a level of spiritual maturity you never imagined. Allah does not test you with hard work to break you. He tests you to stretch you, to expand your capacity, to make you capable of holding bigger blessings. Sometimes the job you hate is preparing you for the job you prayed for. Many people pray for success but are not yet ready to carry it. They want responsibility but lack discipline. They want promotion but lack resilience. They want leadership but lack patience. This is why Allah places them in environments that force them to grow. You think the difficult task is a burden, but Allah sees it as training. You think the pressure is crushing you, but Allah is using it to shape you. You think the job is beneath you, but Allah is using it to prepare you for something above you. Ibn Arabi says, Allah builds you through what He burdens you with. So when work becomes hard, it is not a sign of distance from Allah, it is a sign of proximity. Allah does not refine those He has no intention to raise. Hardship at work is a door to elevation you cannot yet see. Your job may not give instant results, But hidden inside every challenge is a divine push, a step forward, an unseen blessing, a rise in spiritual rank. One day, when Allah reveals the reward behind your patience, you will understand. The difficulty was never there to punish you. It was there to transform you. Ibn Arabi teaches that every soul you meet has been sent to you with divine intention. Not one person enters your life, especially at your workplace, without a purpose tied to your spiritual growth. You may think you are simply dealing with coworkers, supervisors, customers, and colleagues, but in reality, you are interacting with mirrors, tests, lessons, and messengers appointed by Allah. Some people are sent to strengthen you. Some are sent to humble you. Some are sent to teach you mercy. Some are sent to test your patience. And others are sent to reveal your own weaknesses. Your job is not just a place where tasks happen. It is a complex spiritual ecosystem where Allah uses people to shape your character. The difficult people are not accidents, they are teachers. The rude coworker who always interrupts. The jealous colleague who tries to outshine you. The boss who criticizes everything you do. The passive-aggressive team member, the one who takes credit for your work. The one who always complains. The one who talks behind your back. You might ask, why is this person in my life? Why do I have to deal with them? Ibn Arabi answers, because your soul needs what their presence awakens in you. If someone triggers you, it means a part of you still requires healing. If someone angers you, it means your ego needs softening. If someone frustrates you, it means your patience needs strengthening. If someone belittles you, it means your self-worth needs anchoring in Allah, not people. Allah will not remove a difficult person until the lesson they carry has entered your heart. Just like a rough stone polishes a diamond, difficult people polish your spiritual character. The kind people are also tests, but in softer clothing. Not every test comes wrapped in hardship. Some come wrapped in kindness. The coworker who always helps you. The mentor who supports you. The friend who listens to you. The colleague who encourages you. The team member who believes in you. These people test your gratitude, sincerity, generosity, appreciation, and humility. Will you return kindness? Will you acknowledge their help? Will you be sincere with them? Will you avoid jealousy? Will you share credit? Will you remember Allah when receiving support? Allah uses gentle souls to soften your heart and difficult souls to sharpen it. Both are necessary. Both are divine. Both are intentional. Your reactions to people reveal your spiritual level. Ibn Arabi says, people do not disturb you. They reveal you. A rude comment only hurts if something inside you is unsettled. An insult only burns if your ego is inflated. Criticism only destroys you if your self-worth is tied to human praise. Jealousy only shakes you if your heart depends on dunya. Your reactions to others become a diagnostic tool for your soul. You learn more about yourself from one difficult coworker than from 100 spiritual books. This is why Allah places certain people in your path, not to break you, but to show you the parts of your heart that still need work. The unfair people are writing your reward, not taking anything from you. Sometimes you feel wronged at work. Someone takes credit for your efforts. Someone spreads false words about you. Someone blocks your progress out of envy. Someone treats you unjustly. But Ibn Arabi comforts the heart with this truth. No one can take what Allah has written for you, and no one can benefit from taking your rights, for Allah transfers their reward to you. Every injustice you face at work becomes a deposit into your scale of good deeds. Every insult becomes purification. Every betrayal becomes elevation. Every denial becomes compensation from Allah. The people who hurt you are working for your akira without knowing it. Sometimes Allah keeps a difficult person in your life because they are your gate to Jannah. Imagine that. The person who irritates you the most. The person who drains your energy. The person who tests your patience every day might be the very person whose presence earns you paradise. Because of the saber they force you to develop. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah hides immense reward behind the people we least want to deal with. You may think, how can someone who hurts me be good for me? Because Allah sees what you cannot. Their presence forces you to grow in ways you never would on your own. Their presence forces you to look within. Their presence forces you to rely on Allah. Their presence forces you to confront your ego. Their presence forces you to build resilience. Their presence forces you to rise spiritually. The moment the lesson is learned, Allah changes the people around you. If a person's role in your test is complete, Allah will remove them from your workplace effortlessly. They may transfer, quit, get reassigned, lose interest in harming you, or simply fade from your story. Their exit will feel natural, like a page turning in a divine book. But as long as the lesson continues, their presence will remain. Allah does not keep people around you without purpose. In every person there is a sign, and every sign leads you back to Allah. The workplace becomes sacred when you understand this. Every encounter is a divine meeting. Every conflict is a divine teaching. Every support is a divine mercy. Every difficulty is a divine door. There are no random people in your life, only souls. Allah placed precisely where they needed to be, for you, through you, or because of you. And when you see every person as a teacher from Allah, your frustration turns into insight, your anger turns into reflection, and your workplace becomes a spiritual classroom where your soul is being shaped beautifully, intentionally, and lovingly. Ibn Arabi teaches one of the most liberating truths a believer can ever understand. Your job is not your provider. Your boss is not your provider. Your salary is not your provider. Your company is not your provider. Only Allah is our Razak, the giver of all sustenance. When this truth enters your heart, fear melts, anxiety weakens, stress softens, and your entire relationship with work transforms. Most people cling to their jobs with fear. What if they fire me? What if the company shuts down? What if someone replaces me? What if my income stops? These fears come from believing that people control your risk, but they don't. They never have. They never will. Ibn Arabi says that the creation only delivers what Allah has written. They do not decide what is written. Your employer is simply the current doorway Allah chose for your provision. If that door closes, He opens another. If that source ends, He creates a new one. If one path dries, He brings water from a rock. If one opportunity stops, He writes one you never imagined. Your job is a means. Allah is the source. You fear losing your job, but Allah never loses His power. When you tie your heart to your job, you live in constant worry. You feel replaceable, insecure, and dependent on human approval. But when you tie your heart to Allah, your soul becomes calm, because you know your risk was written before you even entered this world. Your job did not create it. Your job cannot destroy it. Even if every person in your workplace tried to block your promotion, even if jealousy surrounded you, even if someone actively schemed to replace you, even if the entire system seemed against you, not a single human being can prevent what Allah has decreed for you. They do not control the script. They do not hold the pen. They do not write the story. Your faith decides the flow of your rizq more than your effort. Ibn Arabi explains that when a heart becomes attached to Allah, the rizq begins to seek the servant instead of the servant chasing rizq. Sometimes a person works less but earns more. Sometimes a person puts in fewer hours but receives unexpected blessings. Sometimes a person earns less money but lives with more barakah than the wealthy. How? Because Allah places blessing where the heart is sincere. Your rizq increases not only with effort, but with tawakkul, with contentment, with gratitude, with obedience. With turning toward Allah, a person may work 12 hours a day and feel empty. Another may work 6 hours and feel abundant. The difference is not the job. The difference is the presence of Allah in one heart and the absence of Him in the other. If Allah wants to give you more, no one can block it. Sometimes your job feels stagnant. No promotions, no recognition, no growth. Nothing seems to move. But Ibn Arabi reminds you, Allah delays worldly openings to open spiritual ones first. If your heart is not ready for a bigger role, Allah will not give it yet. If a new position will harm your deen, He will protect you by withholding it. If the next opportunity requires more maturity, He will strengthen you before sending it. Allah is not punishing you with delay. He is preparing you. And when the preparation is complete, the rizq will come in a way that will shock you, suddenly, effortlessly, beautifully, in a way that makes you say, only Allah could have done this. Your income can change, but your rizq will never decrease. A job loss does not reduce your risk. A pay cut does not reduce your rizq. A rejected application does not reduce your rizq. A failed business does not reduce your rizq. Because rizq is not money. Rizq is peace, health, barakah, opportunities. good people around you, guidance, protection, spiritual openings, a heart attached to Allah, doors that open at the right time. You are not surviving because of your job. You are surviving because Allah is sustaining you through your job. And if He wills, He can sustain you without one. Free yourself from fear. Your provider is eternal. The job may end. The contract may expire. The company may collapse. The manager may change. The economy may shake. But Allah remains. Ar-Razak remains. Your sustenance remains. When your heart finally understands this truth, you stop fearing people and begin trusting the one who writes every sunrise in your life. Ibn Arabi teaches that divine closeness often hides behind the very struggles we try to escape. What you call difficulty, Allah calls guidance. What you call pressure, Allah calls purification. What you call pain, Allah calls an opening for your heart. Your workplace may feel like the last place where spirituality could grow, but sometimes it is exactly where Allah chooses to awaken you. Many people assume spiritual growth happens only in silence, in worship, or in moments of ease. But Ibn Arabi flips the truth. The moments that break you are often the moments that lead you to Allah. When work exhausts you, Allah is inviting you. Think of those days when you come home drained, mentally exhausted, emotionally numb. You sit on your bed and wonder, how long can I keep doing this? Why is this so hard? Why does everything feel heavy? These questions aren't signs of weakness. They are signs that your soul is speaking. And Ibn Arabi says, when the soul begins to speak, Allah is near. Sometimes Allah lets you feel the limits of your own strength, so you turn toward His strength. He lets you taste exhaustion, so you seek His rest. He lets you experience confusion, so you seek His clarity. He lets the world disappoint you, so your heart returns to the one who never does. Difficult work breaks the ego, so the heart can rise. Your ego wants control. It wants comfort. It wants recognition. It wants ease. But your soul wants Allah. And often, the ego blocks the soul. So Allah creates moments at work that humble you, not to hurt you, but to open your heart. A mistake that embarrasses you. A task that overwhelms you. A colleague who challenges you. A deadline that suffocates you. A boss who pushes you beyond your limits. These moments crush the ego, and when the ego cracks, light enters. Ibn Arabi explains that the heart becomes closest to Allah when the ego is the weakest, and nothing weakens the ego like hardship. Allah uses pressure to make you speak to Him again. When life is easy, your du'as become soft. When life is comfortable, your heart becomes distracted. When everything flows smoothly, your relationship with Allah becomes quiet. But hardship forces sincerity. Have you noticed? Your dua during stress is different. Your sujud during pain is deeper. Your tears during exhaustion are more real. Your reliance on Allah feels stronger. The challenges in your workplace may be the very reason your heart reconnects with its Creator. If your job were perfect, if every day were smooth, if every task were easy, you might forget that you need Allah. So sometimes Allah allows the workplace to shake you, so your heart remembers Him. Not every hardship is a punishment. Many are spiritual promotions. Some difficulties are not sent to push you down, but to raise you. Ibn Arabi says that Allah elevates you through the tests He chooses for you. And some of the deepest spiritual openings come from the stress and struggle found in your job. Consider this. You learn patience when everything irritates you. You learn discipline when tasks become overwhelming. You learn humility when you make mistakes. You learn tawakkul when uncertainty grows. You learn gratitude when things finally ease. You learn compassion when you see others also struggling. Every hardship is a tool shaping your inner self. Allah is not punishing you. He is sculpting you. .com. Sometimes Allah makes work hard so you stop depending on dunya. You work. You plan. You strategize. You grind. You push yourself. And still, things don't go the way you expect. Deadlines clash. Projects fail. People disappoint you. Efforts don't bear fruit. And you wonder why Allah doesn't make it easier. Ibn Arabi says, Allah blocks you from dunya so you can return to Him. If your workplace fulfilled every need, your heart might attach to it more than Allah. So Allah creates friction. He creates discomfort. He creates instability. Why? to remind you that this world is not your anchor. Your career is not your foundation. Your boss is not your provider. Your job is not your purpose. Allah is your anchor. Allah is your foundation. Allah is your provider. Allah is your purpose. The hard days are the days you grow the most. You rarely grow on easy days. You rarely transform when things are smooth. You rarely evolve when everything goes your way. Growth happens on the days you break, on the days you cry, on the days you push beyond your limits, on the days you think you can't continue but do anyway. Those are the days Allah rewrites your capacity, expands your strength, and deepens your faith. Pain forces a new version of you to emerge, a stronger, wiser, more spiritually mature version. If work brings you back to Allah, then it is one of the greatest blessings. Some people find Allah in the masjid, some find Him in the Quran, some find Him in charity, but many find Him through hardship, especially in the workplace. If your job brings you to dua, it's a blessing. If your job pushes you to sujood, it's a blessing. If your job forces you to rely on Allah, it's a blessing. If your job makes you realize you cannot survive without Him, that is not a burden, that is mercy. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah sometimes hides His love inside the struggles He chooses for you. And the moment you look back, you realize the hardship didn't break you, it brought you home. Ibn Arabi teaches that life is a series of divine classrooms. Each stage, each trial, each job, each person is a lesson written uniquely for your soul. And when the lesson is complete, Allah Himself will close the chapter and move you to where you are meant to be next. Nothing in your life is stagnant. Nothing remains forever. Not people. Note opportunities. Not circumstances. Not even suffering. Allah is constantly moving you inwardly and outwardly, maturing your heart, expanding your soul, refining your character. Just as a teacher does not keep a student in the same grade once they have mastered the material, Allah never keeps a soul in a place where it no longer grows. If you are still in the job, the lesson is not over yet. Many people say, "I hate this job. I feel stuck. I want to move on. I'm not growing here." But what they don't realize is that spiritual growth comes before physical movement. Allah never moves you to a new external place until He elevates you internally. If you are still in that workplace, even when you feel ready to leave, it is because the lesson is not fully absorbed. Maybe your patience still needs strengthening. Maybe your ego still needs softening. Maybe your trust still needs deepening. Maybe your resilience still needs building. Maybe your character still needs polishing. Ibn Arabi says that Allah does not release you from a place until He extracts from your heart the exact wisdom He placed you there to learn. You leave when the heart is ready, not when the ego is ready. Your soul knows when a chapter is ending before your mind does. There comes a moment when something inside you shifts quietly. A restlessness grows. A new desire forms. A vision expands. A calling emerges. A peace begins to fade from the current chapter. This is not dissatisfaction. It is divine preparation. Allah begins to loosen your attachment to the job you once clung to. He slowly removes your emotional dependency on it. He turns your heart away from what is no longer good for you. Ibn Arabi explains this beautifully. When Allah pulls something from your hands, He is giving you something your heart has not imagined. The ending is not a threat. It is a transition. When Allah decides your time is up, movement happens effortlessly. You don't have to force it. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to manipulate, chase, or stress. Divine shifts happen naturally. Suddenly, you see new opportunities appear. Suddenly, you receive unexpected offers. Suddenly, doors open that you didn't even knock on. Suddenly, clarity replaces confusion. Suddenly, the path unfolds. Because when Allah writes a new chapter, He turns the page Himself. No one can stop a transition Allah has decreed, and no one can delay an elevation written for your soul. Not every ending is a loss. Many endings are protection. Sometimes Allah keeps you in a difficult job to shield you from something worse outside it. Sometimes He delays your promotion because the next environment would harm your faith. Sometimes He holds you back because your heart is not stable enough for the success you asked for. Sometimes He prevents you from leaving because leaving too early would break you instead of build you. So when a chapter doesn't close immediately, it doesn't mean Allah is ignoring you. It means Allah is protecting you with timing you do not understand yet. Ibn Arabi reminds us, delay is not denial. It is divine synchronization. When you complete the lesson, Allah removes the struggle. Have you ever noticed that once you master a specific inner trait, patience, humility, gratitude, or reliance, the external situation often shifts? The moment your heart learns the lesson, Allah eases the difficulty or changes the environment entirely. For example, when you stop depending on people's praise, Allah removes the need to seek their approval at work. When you stop fearing loss, Allah gives you opportunities that cannot be taken. When you purify your intentions, Allah brings you roles that match your integrity. When you learn to trust Him fully, Allah unlocks paths you never dreamed possible. Spiritual completion triggers worldly transition. When Allah moves you, you move into something better. No believer is ever downgraded by Allah. Every shift is upward, even if it feels like a loss at first. Ibn Arabi teaches that Allah never takes something from you unless He plans to replace it with something deeper, richer, and more spiritually aligned. You may move into a job that brings peace instead of stress, a workplace that values your presence, a role that fits your gifts, a career path that unlocks your purpose, a livelihood with more barakah, a destiny closer to Allah. Even if the new path looks small in the beginning, its barakah will reveal its greatness later. Allah doesn't move you backward. He moves you inward, upward, and forward. The divine promise: Allah will not leave you in a place that isn't right for you. If the job is no longer good for your heart, no longer good for your soul, no longer good for your purpose, Allah will remove you, either gently or suddenly, either through opportunity or necessity, either through desire or discomfort, but He will move you. Because Allah's intention is not that you merely survive, but that you evolve. And the moment your soul outgrows a place, Allah opens a new chapter, not when you demand it, not when you think you're ready, but when you are ready, when the heart is ripe, when the lesson is complete, when the soul has matured. Then the divine movement begins. And you will look back one day and say, if Allah hadn't kept me there for so long, I would not have become who I am today. Now that you've heard these 7 lessons, ask yourself, has your job really been the problem? Or has it been the mirror, the teacher, the training ground Allah chose for you? You were not placed there randomly. You were not forgotten. You were not overlooked. You were assigned. Your workplace is a test, a purification, a step in your destiny, a chapter in your spiritual journey. And when you outgrow the lesson, when your heart becomes ready, when your soul has absorbed what Allah intended, He will move you with a wisdom that will make everything finally make sense. So don't lose faith in the middle of the chapter. Don't judge your story before Allah has finished writing it. Your job may look ordinary to the world, but to Allah, it is a perfectly placed piece of the life He is shaping for you. If this message touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Someone else needs this reminder too. Like this video, share it with someone who is struggling, where we uncover the hidden wisdom behind the challenges Allah writes into our lives. May Allah bless your work, your risk, your patience, and every step of the journey you cannot yet see. Ameen.